Well, according to the most recent federal estimates, the number of homeschooled children in the U.S. has nearly doubled between 1999 and 2007 to nearly 1.5 million students. And as more families opt out of conventional schools, they are doing it for a variety of reasons. Joining me now is our Andy Barth with his perspective on this growing trend.
Rob, Oklahoma is the only state with a constitutional provision guaranteeing the right to homeschool. And with more than 25,000 homeschool students statewide, we are seeing a growing amount of parents and students taking advantage of the opportunity to learn at home. From every appearance, students here are like those everywhere. Some loud, others quiet. Most just happy to be with friends. But what sets these young people apart is when their friends head off to school, they stay home.
Real homeschooling looks nothing like public school. I mean, it looks just, there's no comparison because they're two different paradigms.
Jerry Chrisman is the president of the Oklahoma Homeschooling Organization and says this convention is an education in itself.
There are different vendors here with different curriculums to meet your kids' needs. That way you can individualize their education.
But rather than teachers going from booth to booth, here it is the parents that take the lead with their child's education.
It's a place where you can actually come and talk to the authors, you can talk to the reps, where if you just look online and order online, you don't get any personal interaction. You don't get to ask and feel and touch and just see if this is right for your kids or if this is right for you as a parent.
Since 1999, homeschooling has grown from 850,000 students to more than 2 million, mirroring a national trend where 1 in 27 students call home school. A growing trend. Take it from a homeschooler from the state of Washington.
It's a decision my husband and I have never regretted.
Meet Lisa Barth, my mom and teacher. For the past 11 years, she taught me, my sister, and brother everything from English to social studies. But not everything a young person needs to know can be found at home.
My youngest participated in football for 2 years, his junior and senior year, and that was very rewarding. He was actually elected captain his senior year. My daughter played basketball, and she enjoyed that.
Which is what brings us here. As 3,000 FFA members come to Pullman, Washington to attend the annual state FFA convention, not many homeschool students will be found. But for people like my family, FFA and agricultural education was an obvious addition to our homeschool curriculum. Each May, FFA members from around the state come to the Washington State University campus to compete in leadership and team competitions. My sister and I grew up in FFA, and this year, our little brother competed for the final time.
I had the easier life because I was able to go into one class or two classes, and then I was able to go home and take care of my schoolwork. And I think actually homeschooling for me, I think was the best. It was the best way to go. And the reason being for that is because I was heavily involved with our livestock company and producing the club lambs and show hogs and being able to direct enough attention to that. But then also, I think the main reason why homeschooling was the best way for me to go was the auction career. I mean, obviously, and then I want to continue my education at a collegiate level, but I'm in a position now to where if I absolutely needed to, I can go to work and support myself, and then, I mean, be able to build up and then eventually support a family.
And as for the socially awkward stereotype,
I'm very shy. No.
The 2012-2013 Washington State FFA Vice President is Jacob Barth.
Jacob was elected as the vice president of the Washington State FFA Association for the coming year, a task no shy person can take on.
Sure, yeah, there are shy homeschoolers, absolutely, who don't have social skills, but, I mean, I see kids like that in public school every day. I think the people who criticize homeschooling, they just see one situation or one example, and then they just, I guess, profile the entire system itself. And I think we as a society do that with a lot of different examples.
Homeschooling helped each of us in different ways. My sister Christine found the independence of homeschooling rewarding, particularly after graduating high school.
Some of the benefits that I think I gained from being homeschooled was I learned to work independently and be self-motivated. I did notice that putting in a lot of time at home outside of the classroom in college wasn't something that was really hard for me to comprehend. The idea of studying for a couple hours was something that I was used to doing at home, and so that was okay, and I think that that's something that's really, really required to be able to excel in college.
Back in Oklahoma, we caught up with the Pierce family, who we met at the homeschool convention, and spent the day getting an inside look at the life of a homeschooler.
I would say they've been more excited this year than probably any other year, that they're happy with the curriculum. Straight.
Darla Pierce is Brady and Olivia's mother and says homeschooling isn't always easy.
I think probably the biggest struggle is, some people say, I could never homeschool. It's not the schooling that's hard, it's dealing with children and their different personalities and their different bents on a day-to-day basis.
I'm the biggest 8th grader here. I'm learning as they're learning.
Barry Pierce is the children's dad and says he learns just as much as his kids.
I took her for a roping lesson over at a friend of mine's house, is teaching her how to rope. She wants to be a steer roper. That's something that, even though I'm not capable of teaching her physically, I can go and find somebody that is, instead of just leaving her there for 2 hours like people will with their kids at Little League. I stay there with her and I learn with her. It's for me to learn.
Life at the Pierce household isn't all bookwork. After the classroom part is over, Brady and Olivia help out with ranch chores.
You need a really good horse.
The love for horses isn't the only admiration around the ranch. Brady Pierce bought a truck with his own money and is fixing it up before he turns 16.
After I bought it, I did some stuff to it, and it had almost brand new tires and wheels and everything. And I put a new air filter in it. I put new spark plugs, new batteries, and new belts, and I put a headache rack and a toolbox and stuff on it, and new windshield wipers. And I still have a lot of stuff to do to it so it'll run better and look better.
But Brady doesn't only love his truck. Homeschool ranks high on his list of favorites.
I like it and I learn a lot, and I know if I went to public school, I wouldn't learn as much or get taught. I would be hanging out with bad people, and doing homeschool, I can hang out with good people and read the Bible and pray.
And while there are as many different reasons people homeschool as there are students, it is a path that more and more families are starting to take.
So Andy, let's talk details. Are homeschool students, are they required to take the same test that public school students do to progress from one grade to the next?
Actually, Rob, homeschool students in Oklahoma aren't required to take standardized tests. However, their parents will oftentimes have them take annual tests just to make sure they're keeping up with their peers.
Now, what about the parents, these parent teachers? Do they require special certification?
They don't. However, many parents will go to support groups or take some special classes just to make sure they're comfortable in that teaching role.
What about college? How does a homeschooler get admitted into college?
Rob, homeschool students can go to college just like any other student. Oftentimes they'll take the SAT or the ACT like any other high school student, or sometimes they'll just take the college placement exam. But whether you are a homeschool student, a private school student, or a public school student, it's best to contact the college or university you're interested in going to and finding out their guidelines and restrictions before even applying.
Certainly. Now, you mentioned those three. I understand that you have been both a private school student, a public school student, and a homeschool student. What do you tell people from your perspective?
I had the best of all the opportunities. I enjoyed going to public school. I had some amazing opportunities, some wonderful teachers that really shaped my life. And then when my family and I decided to go the homeschool route, I had some wonderful educational opportunities, both through the curriculum that the state required and through the curriculum that my family, whether it was going on my grandpa's truck in the auction business, or working with my dad in his noxious weed spraying business, or in our livestock operation. You know, there's bookwork that you have to take, but then there's those life lessons that you really get to learn in business as well.
Yeah, real life experience. And let me ask you this, how important were the extracurricular activities that you took in conjunction with the public schools?
They were extremely vital. As I mentioned in this package and in previous episodes that we've done here on the show, I was extremely involved in FFA, and that really shaped my life as well as my siblings' lives. And in order to be in FFA, you have to take ag classes in the public school system. So in conjunction with my homeschool curriculum, I attended ag classes at our high school, and my agricultural education instructor was an amazing individual, a wonderful educator, and he really made an impact on my life and was actually a groomsman in my wedding. And so I would take my homeschool studies along with me to the high school. I would attend my ag classes, would go to the public library after school and just do my homeschool studies there while waiting on another ag class. And when all that was said and done, would go home, finish out my studies, and would work on my livestock projects after that.
Final question for you. If you ever have kids, would you consider homeschooling them?
The biggest answer to that whenever I get asked that question it depends. Kids are obviously a little ways down the road right now, but I had amazing experiences in public and homeschooling, all my educational opportunities, and right now my wife is studying to be an agricultural educator. So we are going to be involved in the public school system for a very long time. A lot of times, people only remember the bad teachers, and that's unfortunate because there's a lot of people who dedicate their lives to changing students' lives and making a huge impact on their education. And so hopefully we can find a school that has some amazing teachers that we can put our kids in, but we will eventually make that decision, and when the time comes, further down the road.
I heard further down the road. Well, certainly an interesting subject matter, and one I really appreciate your perspective on.
Thanks, Rob.
All right. Now, when we return, we're going to take a look at how some homeschoolers are taking advantage of new technology classes.